Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's funny, I recorded this video for about 25 minutes and realized I never had record on, so I was just recording myself. Yeah, I'm recording this time, so we're going to do this again. So this is the second installation of the video. This video is going to talk about how to actually utilize the API that we talked about. So let's go back to the API that we've discussed. So how do you get to the API? So remember, you go into APIs. In this case, we're going to do an article search this time. So you go to article search. It provides you an example of APIs. Remember, you're going to have your own API that you're going to utilize. Just authorize it. So you can filter. In this case, we're going to do articles this time. You can filter on your search, like look for specific names. Talk about pagination, which is very important because in this video, I'm going to show you how to just do one page. But for you to do multiple pages, you'll have to grab the information on the on here of how to utilize filter on multiple pages and so forth. Because there might be a case that you have multiple pages and you want to list out the pagination at the bottom so the user could click to the next page, or maybe just something specific. Okay, so here's the API that I'm going to use. So as you remember, you know how to get to your APIs. You go to your APIs. Click here. You could go to apps, and in your apps, it'll list. I don't know why it's saying it. It'll list. I'm not sure why it's not saying have my apps on here, but nonetheless, you could come on here and get your API. So everyone had at this point to figure out how to get their API. They know what their API is, and so forth. So what I did is I ended up doing this API right here. So we're doing a search, article search on JSON. So I just came out here and grabbed all this information. So I grabbed this example call right here, pasted it in here. Now you have to put your API key in here. So if I hit enter, it's just gonna blow up because it has invalid API. So you have to grab whatever your API key is. So I'm gonna grab my API key, hit copy right here, paste it. Pretty straightforward, hit enter, get data back. Now, in this case, it's doing a search on election. So what we want to do is do something else. So in the previous video I did Knicks. Maybe we do sports and just hit enter. Anything with sports will come up. So as you see, sports information comes up. I could do, for example, Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know why they would come up in here, but we'll do it. Barely any information on the Pirates because the Pirates is not their thing. Maybe if we did the Knicks will probably pull up a tremendous amount of information, which they did. So we'll use that as our code. Another thing that I want to introduce to you guys is this website that we're going to use to do our actual editing live. So if we go into editor p5.js.org, we're actually going to write our code in here to test it, see if it works. So if I run this right here, it actually runs JavaScript. Yes, we could do it in Chrome, but I find this to be very easy to utilize. So let's go ahead and get down and start writing some code. So let's call this get API info.js. So it's a JavaScript. And we want to make sure that I'm make sure I'm recording this. I want to make sure that we are saving this information as well, because it's very important to save this information. So the first time that we write the code, we're just going to, provide the basics just to get one line of data versus multiple lines of data, just to get used to it. Okay. To me, that's important to just get something out there versus a lot of something. So let's start off there and do fetch. And we'll put our key in here, whatever API is, which, how do we grab that? We just come back out to so many windows open here. So what did we do? We did Knicks. So this is hard coding it. And we'll talk about some other things that you'll be working on this week. All right, and so we'll paste it in here. And this has my API key, so please don't use my API key. So when you show me your demo, I want to see your API key, or you didn't do it right. All right, so then I'm gonna do then I'm gonna do a response, because I want to get a response back. And I'll show you something in a minute here. And I will return the response.json. So we're going to use JSON to return a response. So when I talk about the API itself, and this is what I mean when I say response. Response is the hierarchy. That's where it starts at. So think of it as doing you're drilling down into a search result. So we drill down to response. What's the next thing that we have? Docs. So docs will be our next information, and that will come here shortly. So we're like, hey, docs, give us some information. And docs goes in and says, oh, what do you need now? So then we drill down and further. Maybe we do a headline. And so, for example, if I do a search on headline, it comes right here. All right, so we're like, oh, headline, what do you have? Then you drill down, what do you want from the headline? Well, we probably want the main content. So we grab the main content. And then I'll talk about how we could grab other information, like say we want to grab the snippet of an article, or we want to grab the paragraph of an article, or we want to grab the URL of the article. We could grab all that information and put it out there. We might even be setting up a API to get this information and put it into our own database for archival purposes for some reason. All right, so we could do all that information. So let's go back to our code. So we have return response, and then we're going to come down here. We're going to type in then, and we're going to type in data. We're going to use that Lambda expression. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a console.log, and we're going to type in just what we talked about. Response, docs. I'm going to use the value 0 because in an array, 0 is the beginning of everything. So then I'm going to do dot headline dot main. Keep it simple, right? So that ends our thing. And then we could do an error message here if we wanted to. So if we want to do ERR, Lambda, and then we could, do something here if it errors out. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this code because we want to make sure it works. First of all, I want to save the code. I want to check it into my library too. But before we get to that, let me find my window here. Where I had that window at. Here she is. All right. So I'm going to erase that. Going to paste that in. Going to run that. Going to get some data. So look at this. We got data back already. It says losing the lottery might be the least for the Knicks. Sure. They've already lost the lottery. Lakers, I think, won. And really, New Orleans won. So as you see here, when I pulled up this information about the Knicks, what was the first headline that I had? Right here. This is the first headline, losing the lottery to the Knicks. All right, so let's change this value to like number 2. So the third line of code, what do we get? The Knicks get razzed by the Oscars. So, so you come down here and do a headline. Knicks fan is number 2. That is null, so they're going to skip it. Which actually was that previous one that said the Knicks razz. I missed it. So you could get that information. Let's say we went back here and we wanted to grab something else. Can we do multiple things? Maybe. So let's copy this. No use of, I'm going to have to type it. Let's do, oops. Let's see if it allows us to do this. Log, data, response, docs. We'll just do number 2 again. But this time we will do headline. And instead of main, actually let's do snippet. Let's grab the snippet and see if that works. All right, so now you see we're getting multiple information back. We're getting the headline, which is the Knicks get razzed at Oscars, and then we're grabbing the snippet of it, the super fan Spike Lee and Samuel Jackson exchange, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the heck that has to do with it, but it's grabbing that value from that same article. So if I did snippet here, might want to start at the top because I might be getting, all right, so yeah, so it's just grabbing information from there. So you see it's just gonna, you can keep doing snippets and grabbing information. That's all we're doing there is, I keep making sure I'm recording because I don't want to not be recording. All right, so we're grabbing the information. That right there is basically 101 of how to get some information. The only difference is we're only getting values represented for what row that we're getting. So we're doing a search. It's like Google. You do a search, you'll find something. that's what you get. You get value 0, value 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So all we want to do is, you know, first of all, we want to save that environment. So, you know, we got our info. So we'll make sure we go out to follow our trend and save that. So let's go out to terminal. Let's clear. Let's see what we have here. I have a lot of different things there. So we're in my first repo. What branch are we on? We're on the dev branch. Yeah, that's fine. We're actually going to CD out of here because we have a lot of new things. And the thing is, we don't want to check everything in because I've made so many changes here. So the one that we're working on at this moment is, was it get data? Nope, not that one. Hold on. Is that one? Which one was that one? I'm going to tell you which one that was real quick. That was, what's today, the 19th? Yep. 806, get new list. No, that gets everything. Jeez, so I have so many in here. Get API info. Let's see if that's it. Oh, that might have been it. It was it, but then I changed it out here and grabbed something else. So get API info, and then we added that console for the snippet. So let's copy that in there. Yeah, I think we just did snippet. Even though we did 2, 1, 0, it's still the same thing. All right, so we want to make sure that we check this code and we want to merge this guy over to our environment. So we want to use our integration thing here. So we know that it's get API. So what we're going to do is do move get API info.js, move it over to our my first repo. Perfect. So now if we CD into my first repo, we can make sure it's there. We're only gonna have stuff that we want to be in there. Okay, so we have that in there. So that's good. So we're not gonna check any code in right now at the moment. We have that in there because we have something else that we have to write. And before we write that, we wanna make sure that we have all our information together. All right, so that was showing you how to do one thing. Let's show you how to do multiple things. Now, in this one, we wanna bring up a list of values, but also we wanna start thinking about outside the picture. We wanna start thinking about, okay, we're going to create this environment because this week you guys are you're going to use the New York Times API. You're going to create your own page and you're going to have a search page and you are going to customize what you want to search on. It doesn't have to be what we did. You could do dates. You could do filtering on specific information. You could do exactly what we did, but you have to create a web page in HTML and JavaScript, and it has to have some text boxes. And you have to do some type of search and tell the instructor and tell the person what to search on. But when you click the search, all you're going to do is call your JavaScript, and the JavaScript is going to go out to the API. It's going to grab the information, and it's going to pull the data, and it's going to display it on the screen. So what I'm doing in these videos is showing you how to get started. The other aspects should be stuff that we've already learned in the class, and it should be pretty straightforward on how to do that. Okay, so I think this will. This video will be very helpful for you to get started and start obtaining all that information and kind of going to town there. All right, so let's start writing some more code, guys. So this one, new file, and we'll say get list, get data list. That's dumb. Get API list. I'll put list for plural. That's a bad naming convention, I'm sorry. It's just that I have so many of them out there and I don't want to grab the same one. All right, cool. So let's do this. Show you how to grab stuff. So we're just going to use that same existing API that we've already used. So we don't need to change it up. So copy it. Actually, you know what? I'm probably going to do a different search instead of the Knicks. Let's see what else is going on. Don't want to do anything with politics. Let's say New York City. Something's going on in New York City, I'm sure. Yeah. So there are some articles going on in New York City. Let me actually go to the New York Times. See what's going on out there. Don't care about that. Alright, so I'm just trying to find something. There's so much stuff out here. Alright, let's go to technology. You know what? This might actually be a good one. So I'm not sure why I didn't think about that. That's the field we're in. Technology. Perfect. A lot of good stuff on technology. So we're going to use technology as our API in this video. All right. So we will do fetch. We're going to hard code it, but I'm going to show you how to do something else after that. Okay. All right. There we go. And we're going to take this out this time and hit enter. All right, good. Then we'll come down here and do a function setup. And in our function, let's see here, function setup, no canvas. Because we don't want that, we're going to load JSON. Do URL. Get data, that's what I'm calling it. We call it anything. All right, and then we're going to do a function, data, what's passed. We're going to do articles equals data dot response. You could call this anything. I call it article response dot docs because, as we mentioned before, hierarchy response. What's the next key? Docs. So that's how we draw into the API. So now we need to loop to get everything, all results from search. All right, so we gotta grab everything from the article search. I can make sure I'm recording because I don't want to not be recording. All right, we're doing good timing here. So we could do a for variable. I always do that. Variable, I will do I, you can do A, you can do B, you can do anything. I just do I because it's what we do. Equals 0, so we start at 0, and then we'll say if I is less than what? Articles, dot, the length, GTH, if I can spell. And then we want to do, plus, because we want it to increment, right? Then we want to do create element, and we could do an H1 for heading 1. You could do P for paragraph, you could do H2, whatever. We'll just do H1 and see what it looks like. And then we could do articles, and then we'll do an I in brackets because we don't know what line it's going to be on. It's going to be value number 1, value number 2, and so forth. We'll do headline dot main. Then, well, let's just do this first before we do anything else. And that's it. So let's save that. Let's copy it. Let's go to our editor that we're using to test it out. We're gonna paste it in here. We're gonna run it. All right, so it didn't like something. After list sketch line, what did I do wrong? All right, it's okay. Function setup. I went so quick with this, so who knows. Function, maybe I didn't copy it all in there. Stop it, all right. All right, I know what I did. Oh, you know what, that's not the search. I thought we changed that to technology. All right, so anyways, not sure what happened, to be honest with you, but it's there. Oh, you know what, I grabbed the wrong one. Let's see here. So as you see, we did universities. These are the top searches that came up. Join to push public interest in technology, the flaws in racial recognition, blah, blah, blah. So it has all this information here. But what we can do is we could get other information as well. So we could grab the snippet of it, which gives you a little bit of snippet. We can even grab the lead paragraph of it. As technology becomes increasingly, blah, blah, blah. We can grab all of it if we want to. So what we could do here is, I'm trying to go back. Let's do that. So let's go down here. We have snippet in here. So let's do this and do create P, and then we could do articles, and we could actually do, let's do snippet. Let's do lead paragraph there. So it actually starts it off, and then we could run it, and we should have all that information. So as it starts with the paragraph, has the information. We could also grab the web URL where it's coming from if we wanted to click on it. So we can go create P, articles, web URL, and then search on that, and we should get a link down here. Now, here's the thing: we just get the URL, so there's another way. We could set up HTML so that it does an A hyphen reference. So we're grabbing the web URL, but we can make it a we could create it and make it a href in our HTML. So there's a way to do that, but for now, for best interest, this provides us a URL. So for example, if we wanted to do extending the stage with technology, so we grab this URL and we'll just search on it. And what it does is extending stage. And so it provides all this information here, which is good. This is all good information for us to use in our code. So I'm just going to update our code that I have here. Let's save that. Actually, we'll come over here and save it. Perfect. Let's do this. Let's grab this information. But what I want to do is give you guys an example of when you start actually creating your page. Let's copy this over first before I do that. So let's go back to terminal. Where's terminal at? All right, it's right here. So let me clear this. Go out. Let's move. Actually it should have been copy, not move. The last time I did move, I meant copy, because we want to keep it out there. To my first repo. And if we cd into my first repo, we should have it out there. Yeah, we want to make a copy of that other one. So let's do copy, get API info.js, and move it out. So that way it's out there as well. All right, so that's good. The other thing that I wanted to mention is when you are setting up your page and you're doing your HTML page, and so you have your HTML page right here, not that. Let's see here if we have. So like we have this page here. We wanted to put a text box on here, and we could go in here and put a text box on here. And we want to do a search, and then we want to have a button so that when a user clicks on the button, they get some information. So what do we want to do here? create a new page, and we'll call it, actually, you know what, let's just use our existing page. Where's index at? Right, so we have our index page here. We got information, we got all kinds of stuff going on this page. We have our table set up. Let's see here. Yep. So let's set up a new div tag here. Let's make sure it's still updating. Save it. Yeah, it's still updating it, so I'm gonna minimize this information for now. So what we want to do is set up some template, something just to play around with. So we could have search on articles. And then we could have, I don't know, input type equals text, name equals news, whatever, BR, something like that. Let's see what that looks like real quick. This is just giving an example. All right, so we have a search on, okay, cool. You can make it bigger than that. And then we need a button below it as well. So we need to have some type of button, some type of way to search. So let's go back to our code and I don't know, put button type equals button and then search or query, whatever. Save it. But you guys get the gist of what we're trying to do here. All right, so we have this information here. We want to do, say, Lakers, click search, nothing happens. But what I want you to do is once you click on the search, we want it to come out to our JavaScript, and we want our JavaScript to actually do some coding. So what you can do is you could break down this separation here as well. So how could you break it down? You could set up a variable called my API key equals, so you can put your API key in there, which is what, this information here. So whatever your API key is, not mine, you could put it right here, paste it, boom, so you have that. Then you could also have, what is my URL base equals, so the base of it is this information right here. We could have article search, this right here, JSON, that's our base, and we could paste it in here. What's our query? So our query is what? I should have that. So this is where we could get the value from the text box right here. So we want to get that value from the text box that the user enters in, inputs in here. So you want that value to go there. Then maybe you have, and you could do this in different ways. You could do Q search. So maybe Q search, let's do this. Query equals Q equals, that's it. And this right here is your keyword search. So this would be a keyword. And then maybe you have another one that is for, you want to have this information here at API key. So maybe you even have that in your API key. You could have that there as well. So maybe you have, we'll say, I don't like that. API key identifier, identity. We'll say that. All right, so you have all these different things. And what you're doing is you're gonna build a way to add all this stuff together. So, you know, you're gonna have maybe var URL equals what? URL base plus, what's the next thing? To build your query out, you need the base. So you just follow this. We need that Q equals, so we do, I can type, plus Q equals, so it'll be query, plus what else? What's our keyword that we're looking on, so what did the user want to look at? And then we have our API identity key, and maybe we have our API key itself. You get my gist. So you have this information that's built based off of what the customer wants. You have all this information spread out. The keyword is what the customer inputs. Then what it does is it grabs that URL. So let's say they're doing technology, they're doing iPhones, they're doing whatever. It creates this query. You could then go out and do whatever. So let's say that, you know, we want to test this query out and make sure that they provide us the right information. Let's say they wanted to do a search on iPhones. They did iPhone, enter. It pulls back information. It does have some type of articles on iPhones, and then you just run the rest of your code. Other thing that you're going to do differently is actually this information right here could all be the same. So you could actually use all this, reuse all this information. This will actually display it on the screen just like that. So that's it right there. That's what I'm looking for this week in this assignment is for you to set up another page on your website, and this website is going to be an API. You're going to set up your own API key. You're going to set up your own page. You go out and search. You're going to have results. And I want you guys to do some research on pagination so you have more than one page of results. And then you can present it at the end of the week. So best of luck. This should be an exciting week if you ask me. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Good day.